Hello and welcome to today's session of programming a bit. Today we want to program on Quanta, a little AI file searcher that should index and vectorize local files, put those in a database, store some information about these files in a database, and then we can search it through a Next.js UI, which I created with AI because I really don't. I'm really not good at programming Next.js. Let's say that. Hi, Catherine. Great to read you again, see you again. All right, so let's dive right in. You have to forgive my voice, it's a bit bad, but I think you can understand me clear. All right. So last time we stopped after getting Apache Tika to run. And that was basically it. So I programmed some more. It's been some days anyways, but still. Yeah, this is the YouTube link. Okay, so I added, I edited that Docker file for the backend, so it creates the Quarkus project. It builds the Quarkus project, but it builds it into steps. The first step is it gets all the dependencies of the POM and downloads it. And then the second one is it actually builds the project. The reason why this is useful is because the dependencies rarely change. So in this layer, this stays the same and it can be cached every time I build it. And then this part will run every time I build the Docker file. But this is much faster because the dependencies are already downloaded. So it's much faster. It's not as fast as building it or just copying the pre-built jar. But I like this approach because it's really clean. You don't need anything installed at all, despite of Docker, of course. But this really gives you a feeling of you clone this project, you write Docker compose up, and everything just works. That's my favorite kind of project. Okay, so I changed some things here in the service. I don't remember why. This is important. The dimensions are important, and I had to change those because Qwen3 embedding seemingly uses this amount of dimensions, and that has to fit. Otherwise, we get a problem. We get some exceptions from the database. And I always use a pretty high timeout for the Ollama requests, because especially the first request takes some time because it loads the whole LLM into the RAM, into the GPU in this case. Okay, so I changed that. Yeah, don't know why I commented that out. It's been quite some time. Cool. So other things that I already changed. Yeah, so I actually implemented the real service, and then not just dummy files. Here we still have dummy files, but I think I implemented those. now as well. But we actually created that retrieval service. Let's get into that retrieval service and what it does. So first thing, it gets the file metadata repository. So that's one repository where we store the metadata, the name of the file, I think when it is created, stuff like that. And the summary, yeah, that's important as well. But not the embedding. That's stored in a different table through this embedding service. We'll get into that later. Yeah, and so we simply can query the files in the file metadata repository. So that's one thing. The file watcher is the service that runs continuously and checks for changed files and vectorizes those. So yeah, we'll look through that completely, not just see these changes. Yeah, I just added don't return anything else but the summary, because otherwise it says this is the summary and then it goes on talking. We don't want that. Okay, I limited the length, not sure why. Absolute path. Yeah, that's the file path. We actually set the file path in the Docker Compose as well, but this is like the default path if you're running it in development mode. Okay, so I did a couple of things, but I don't think it's necessary to go through all these changes. We'll see how it works in a second. I also added, last time I only had some space stuff. Okay, we don't see that image right now. I had some space memoirs and a PDF describing a ship. And so I wanted to have a different setting where I get different files. So I added a memoir of Matthias Krüger, who's some guy from the Middle Ages, right? And also PDF with a royal carriage specification, and then an image. We can't do anything with the images yet, but this would be a very important factor, but I really haven't researched how easy it is possible to classify images locally. But I guess it should be possible. I don't know, I could be wrong. Okay, so let's look at the whole project here. As we said before, the retrieval service doesn't do anything fancy. We get the prompt, we get similar files from the embedding service. Let's see what that does. And the embedding service actually has this PgVectorEmbeddingStore, and that is actually covered by Quarkus, by the Quarkiverse. I like the name of that. But what it actually does is it creates an embedding for this given prompt and then searches similar resources by comparing the text. No, wait a second. No. This is the actual search, and then we just sort this stuff by the score. So each element that comes back has a specific score, and depending on how high it is, it's basically as similar. So a score of 1, I think, is complete identical, and a score of highly relevant. Okay, and 0 is not relevant at all. And I simply wanted to sort the results by this. But the more interesting part is is when the embedding happens. So we have our embedding model here. We embed the content. So this is called, let's see where this is called. This is called by the file watcher service if a file has changed, right? I think that I explained that last time pretty solid. Hopefully, this is just, it goes every 600 seconds. It goes through all the files of the given file path, and it searches all these files, and then it sees if the modified flag has changed, if the modified time has changed. And if it has, or it doesn't exist yet, then this onFile changed is called, and then the actual vectorization starts. So it uses the UUID. Wait a second, what is this? Why? Do we need a... Okay, let's see the file metadata. I think that vector UUID is so that I can link the actual vector database entries to a specific file. Otherwise, I don't know what the vector found. I just know, okay, it found these vectors, but what do they mean? I don't know. Let's see into that more. So where were we? Yeah, the UUID. So we get that UUID, which is unique for one file, the file path completely, and the content of this file, which is done by Tika. Right. And unfortunately, Tika does not extract any text from images, which makes sense, but it would be nice. So, but it does get text out from a PDF, which works fine, or text file, any sort of text file, really. That's pretty cool. And pretty easy as well. I think last time we had some problems because I didn't actually add the right dependency. Not this time. Cool. Let's go into this embed file with content, because we really want to vectorize this file. So again, we have that content. I see just now that we don't... Oh, this is interesting. The reason why I discover all this myself is because it's more than 20 days ago, so I don't know anything about it anymore. But what is interesting to me is this file metadata has a summary, but we won't use that summary for our embedding, all right? We just will use the complete text that is extracted. Okay, let's move on. So again, this is the content of the file, not any summary. And we will add... Why do we do this? This doesn't make sense, right? Well, why? Okay. I don't know why. Maybe I started out different. Or maybe there is no add functionality. That would be funny. That would be funny. Okay, so we have that. Candidates are add an embedding or embedding and a text segment, but no, no UUID. Okay, why is this? Yeah, that's great. So we have an ID, we have the embedding, and we actually want to add the text as well. But there's really no method. Why would... Okay, so we use this one with the IDs, embeddings, and embedded. Oh no, we did not use this one. Where are we? Oh. Alt and 7. Does this go unsupported? What did we use before? We used addAll and then added 3 lists. This is strange. This is very strange. Okay, let's add all. Okay. Huh. Okay. So it adds these text segments, the embedding itself, and the IDs. So this is, no, it's a PG. And this addAll is defined here. But we can't add 3. I really don't understand why we have to use this, but it seems like we have to use it this way. Very interesting. All right. But again, we have that UUID, we have the embedding, and we create a text segment of that file path to absolute file string. So it uses the absolute path just to be on the safe side here. And that's all it does. So the embedding model is here. Yeah. So the PgVectorEmbeddingStore doesn't do any logic in this case. It just stores the files there. But what's important is this UUID, and it adds it as an ID for an embedding. And afterwards, we get these search results. And then, as far as I can tell, we get these strings, which should be, which are the text. So this is actually what we will get in return is actually the text segment. So why do we need a UUID anyways? Okay. Let's get into that. So we get this list of strings, a list of file path in this instance, and we say find by ID. Yeah, well, this doesn't work. It's clear that this doesn't work because we are searching for an ID. Yeah, all right. As you can see, I already tried this, and I think the error, yeah. So search file failed because it did not get any results here. I think, right? Cannot invoke getPath because file metadata is null. Oh, that's interesting. No, that's a different error. Okay, we keep in mind that this should not work, actually. I don't think it should work because we are getting the text segment, not the ID. Can we get an ID from there? No. No, because that's already the segment. So if we, what's embedding ID? So that's the proper way. We debug it. Okay, let's debug it really quickly. Yeah, the streaming stuff is a bit bad to debug. But all right, that's all right. Let's think we can do this. Okay, let's get on with it. We are starting this in the debug mode. Here I have my Visual Studio. I already started my Docker containers, but I'm sure the LLMs are unloaded again now. And I have my front end running, which is very simple, as you can see, but it does what it's told, and that's great. Let's go back here, wait for the backend to start, and then we can go. This is actually quite easy, and I already have something planned to actually do quite the same stuff, but use these embeddings as RAG to enhance searches that I do, and I'm looking forward to that. This is a different topic. I don't know when I'll do that. You did the front-end cyberpunk style, says Catherine. Yeah, that was one of my main goals here. But as I said, it's all AI created, and it's really simple. I'm not entirely happy with it, to be honest. I created front ends with AI before, and they looked much better. And this, look at that search button. I mean, it's cool that it's highlighted, but it doesn't look modern at all. But that's all right. Okay, we are going through these files now. File changed. Okay, it detects a lot of changed files. I'm not really sure. This could be that these images are not stored and they are always set as changed, even though they are not changed, but they are never analyzed with Tika. It could be a problem. Okay. Well, why do I reload this? Let's try it. This doesn't do anything. Great. Okay, so it's the same error. We get a file, an empty file metadata, which is strange. I thought find by ID gives me an entity. Well, and it can be null. Yeah. What do we do? Do we filter out null? Do we check here for null? Why do I map this anyways? You know what? To be more transparent and easily debuggable, let's do this another way. Okay, we get a couple of files, possibly, but then we get only, no, we can get a result for each one. This is fine. And then we get null in this case. Okay, so we filter those out, right? That makes sense. Objects is non-null, right? Non-null is then true, and then it goes on. That should work. Should be fine already. Okay, and I don't want to restart that whole process now. See if that works. It doesn't. It does not. Persistent enumerator, storage corrupted. Wonderful. Yeah, okay, whatever you say. Then we restart it. And I actually tested that a couple of days ago, and it worked. So I'm not sure why now it doesn't work. It would be interesting to see what it is searching. And actually we have a debug point for that. Why is it not called? That's not nice. Find by ID optional. That's much better. I like that. Anyways, let's hit this again. Oh, all right. It finds something. It finds the same file over and over again. It finds my memoirs, the sci-fi memoirs, and it finds memoirs of Matthias Krüger. Okay, this is already summarized. And it looks like it's the same entity here. Okay. It does something, it works. This is cool, but let's see if we are looking for some Matthias. What do we get? See, this is what I don't like. We actually want to have Matthias memoirs up there, but they are down there. So this is always the same, no matter what I write. Nope. Okay. Let's try Matthias Krüger. This is good. Just Krüger. Okay, so it doesn't really like Matthias. Yeah. Maybe the other guy. No, he's not named Matthias. Okay. Let's take the Middle Ages. Still, again, the sci-fi stuff. And we have a couple of the same results, which we don't want. Okay, let's put this step by step. So now this is working. Fixed null pointer. It's always a good thing. Does that help here? If we take this find by optional, do we need this anymore? Oh, well, okay, no, it doesn't. Well, but I still like it much more. Filter, the optional is present. Yeah, this is much nicer. And then we map it. Is that good practice? I'm not sure. We'll do it. Yeah, so it's actually not that great. Anyways, so there are a lot of things that I don't get. First of all, I think it would be interesting to find out where are the duplicates? Are the duplicates in... Yeah, they must be in the embedded store. They must be, otherwise it would not make sense. Okay, let's stop it for a second. Okay, let me navigate to this project really fast. Really fast. This is not fast. All right, we have this project here. Yeah, and now we have our database. Yeah, I mounted that externally. So let's bring that down. We don't have to delete it. We just delete the data because I want to have a clean slate. Now let's restart it. Then all the files are gone. Yeah, and if we restart it like this, then it goes over all these files. And it should be at least single results, right? Okay, yeah. So what it does is it already embeds some stuff, and it should, summarize some stuff. Oh, the Testament of Matthias Krüger with an Ü. Very nice. And is it done at any point? I think it is done. Great. Let's take this again, the Middle Ages. Still, this is wrong sorted. Medieval would be nice. That would probably be a better thing. Okay, so the carriage moved one up, but still, okay, the path, the name of the file, yeah. The name of the file and the summary is not included in the vectorization. Maybe we should change that, because a name of a file is pretty important. Still, I want to see with Matthias, does not work. But if we write that in a capital, it still doesn't work. With a space, no, K. Yeah, okay, now it understands that. So it kind of works, but in a really weird way. Let's try Alaric then. So that's no surprise, but if we add Matthias Krüger into the mix, we get Matthias Krüger. Just Matthias? Matthias is something, he doesn't like that name, I think. Let's try Gangstaria, a great ship. Okay, it went up one space. All right, we got it. All right. Maybe we'll try medieval Matthias. Still hung up on that. So it looks like it needs 2 words. If we have royal, it does. Okay. So this works right away, or the starship doesn't work. Well, it's probably, there's probably something about the starship there as well. Still, if we add cruiser, then we should find it. So it does really, it works really well with 2 words for whatever reason. Okay, the Majesty and the Queen, and then we got it, right? Okay, but this is really cool. I like it. It does work, but I think there's still a lot of problems with the double stuff. And yeah, what we actually wanted to see it fail, because this should not work. All right, let's put this to a list, make it less efficient but better readable just for now, right? Okay, list to a stream, and then you can map it, and then we get that ID, And again, we put this into a list. List 1, yeah, great naming, great naming. Okay, and then we're good to go. Now, another debug point. And I'm pretty sure what we find now is that it goes, yeah, sorry. It goes through all these files again and duplicates the entries, which is nice, but that's something for a bit later, not too much. Oh yeah, I have Twitchit activated again and it keeps on failing me. I'll remove that tool soon. What does it do? It creates some summaries and stuff like that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, really interesting. Let's go back to our AI. If we search through these files, yeah, we have 2 of those. But the real question is, why doesn't it debug? And the solution to that is we have to attach the debugger. Is that the right position? No, this is the right one. Because otherwise, I don't know, it doesn't work. Cool. We have that. What comes out of that? Yeah. You do what you have to do, but what is the result here? Oh. Okay. Again. This is actually not interesting. This is interesting. What's in the list? So, yeah, naturally, it's this. And I don't understand that right now. Okay. Let's find this. So this is our repository and the file metadata. The path is the ID. So this works. Great. So that's the reason why it works. The path actually is the ID. And this is perfectly fine. What I really don't like is that in the vector database, it's the same element multiple times. So one thing I want to remove is the ID. We don't need this because this is unique enough. Yeah. Then it makes things easier. Fully stop all. Yeah. But we'll get some errors, right? Where are the errors? In the embedding service, there must be errors. No? Well, then don't. Now, maybe we can add one. See, this is great. We can leave out these weird lists, which is great. Yes, very nice, very nice. And okay, can we embed a list of text segments? So we could do more segments. Let's see, when is this called? So we remove that UUID completely. But what would be nice is the summary. The summarization is actually done after the embedding. maybe we shouldn't do. Let's take that summarization with us. It's pretty cool. And the file path. So we embed a couple of things. Why? So the text segment is the actual text, original content that was embedded. Well, that's not entirely true here. But does it matter? Why? What does the vector store do with this text segment? I don't think it does anything logical. I think it's just presenting it additionally. So let's try it another way. Let's not give it this one, but the ID. So this way, this is the ID. And it's a unique identifier. Oh, that's nice. That's nice in the sense that we won't get doubles then. And it just makes more sense, right? We want to have the ID, embedding ID. And this is still the same ordering and stuff like that. It's all the same. Yeah, but what we want to have here is text segment. And then we have more things. Wow, am I lazy? Summary. Content. Then we want to have path and the summary. It also lets us add some metadata. Is that a good idea? I don't know. I didn't work with that yet. Let's simply use it. Why not? So we create a map of yeah, one thing is the path, and another key would be the summary. So it gives what? Oh, the file. Yeah. Let's put this here. Absolute file path. That's what we want. Here we go. And we can use this. So what we actually do here is add these things with some identifier. And I don't know if that is helpful, but it could be. So that's why we do it. Then we create that embedding anyway. Wait a second. Is the content only returning this one? I'm not sure. If we embed this, it does something. Embedding ensure equals size 1, expected a single embedded, but got more. That's all right. Content. I think that's fine. I think that's fine. We can look into the embedding. That would be interesting. Okay. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool so far. Let me just get one more of these. I don't know. It's kind of a sweet to help with the throat. All right. So this is all really nice. It's coming along really cool. We have that file summary. But one thing that's not that great is that it always creates more of these embeddings than we actually want to have. And this is actually something that we want to have removed here. So it has these last modified times there. But for some reason, it's always different. Let's check that out. Cool. I know nobody is excited about this as me, but I think it's really such a simple way to make it possible to vectorize any kind of file, any kind of content. That's crazy how easy it is and how well it is integrated into Java. One thing I did think about, where I don't have the perfect solution. Catherine, I'm gonna need you for this one. So in the Docker Compose, I say in the back end, so here are my demo files. These are my demo files and they are mounted in here. And the demo files, of course, are, if we are looking here, they are in the file hierarchy below the Docker Compose. So it's easily mountable, right? This is easily mountable. But if I want to have files indexed out of that scope, I don't think I can do this. So I can't mount like C. Well, C doesn't work anyways. But so I want to index all my files, my source files. But I don't think this is possible. And this is one thing I don't have the perfect solution for right now. Yeah. All right. Catherine, let's see what answer you come up with. Like I said, I don't have any. Let's see what worked. Failed to process files. Yes. You know why? Oh no, the UUID string is too large. That's not what I hoped for. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Okay. So this doesn't work. Oh, that's unfortunate. So this really, no, the embedding service, the ID really must be a UUID. It just doesn't say that anywhere. Yeah, it just says a unique identifier. But somewhere along the way, this is needed as a UUID. Well, this is totally fine. Then we'll change that really slightly, put this back. We'll do this as a text segment again. This worked. And then we have the embedding here. Embedding, I think. And we map that another. No, embed. Nah. Embedded. Yes. And what we get is a text segment. Yeah. And we want to have the text. Okay. So this works as well. Okay. This is all right. A minor setback. I will debug it anyways. And Catherine is thinking about that Docker Compose problem. The easiest solution would probably be you put that Docker Compose file where you need it, but that's really not nice. But it's a matter of fact that you can't leave the context of where the Docker Compose file is. I didn't see that anywhere that you can change that. All right, again, we started the application. It did a lot of vectorization. There are probably wrong vectors in there as well, but we'll see if that makes problems. Okay. So we have this one. Let's see what comes out of it. Yeah, the list gets longer and longer. We have these files again. Okay, everything as usual. But the problem is the file watcher service is doing something wrong, and without a delay, we can't really see what's going on. Let's take this as, is this possible? No. So the delay is in milliseconds, I presume. Load the sources, please. Delay unit default time in minutes. That's too long. Good friend. This is too long. What? Shouldn't work. Delay unit is milliseconds. Then it's 100,000, 10 seconds. Let's take 5 seconds. I'll be that fast. Okay. Okay, Catherine brought a solution. Yes, the host directory is where the Docker Compose file is. But if the demo files are not in this directory, but in one, for example, in C directly or something like that, so in the root of the file directory, I can't mount it into this Docker container. Maybe I'm just thinking about this in a too complicated way. I'm not sure. All right, we have something. Yes, this. I don't know why I have this here. Oh yeah, we wanted to see what an embedding is here. And surprisingly, it's just a bunch of numbers, which, yeah, it could include this and could not. I'm not sure. This is fine. Now, let's get to that part. What file do we have? Okay, so the PDF of the Starship. And we modified it at 966. Let's just remember that one. And this is the existing metadata, which is not null. And this is different by a millisecond or microsecond. No, it should be millisecond. Why is that? Why is this? 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 right? It's the same, except the last. I think I did something. Yes. What is this? I remember doing this. But why? New file, store timestamp. Yes, this is great to store the timestamp, but you shouldn't change it by 1. What was my goal here? Let's check out my blame. Fix duplicates and sorting. I don't think you did, friend. Oh, past Johannes. You made a huge mistake, I think. Why would I? Okay, let's move on. We save the metadata with last modified -1, so it always thinks it's modified. Yeah, and it's always. This doesn't make sense. This does not make sense at all. Oh man. Yeah, let's keep it this way, but I really want to stop my database, clean it up a bit, and then move on. Okay, restart it. So, okay, thank you very much, Catherine, for your input. This is really interesting, but the host directory is the absolute or relative path of the bind mount on your local machine. But this means it's always this path. So the host directory is always the path to this file, which in this case is cdocs projects AI file search. And I can't change that. I cannot say yeah, for example, like I can't even do this. AI file search. This doesn't work because it's moving out of the context and then it gets angry. This started, this has data. We want to see it in debug mode. But this is pretty cool. Actually, I'm always almost satisfied with that project so far. So as you could see, the vectorization is a bit shaky. It doesn't always give you the right answers. And I'm not sure how to improve that. But it does some stuff right. So right now we shouldn't get any results, right? But now it does all that summarization, vectorization, stuff like that. And then we are good to go again. But it doesn't. Oh no, it just vectorized that Majesty Queen. But it should embed all that stuff. That's probably the reason why I added this. Okay, let's go back. So it sees it's last modified at some point. There is no existing metadata. No, wait a second. So by ensuring that, so it does make sense. So if it's creating a new file if the existing metadata is null and the last modified is null, then it is creating this to make sure, after ensuring that metadata, the file is read again. But why does it not find the existing metadata? Or why is the last modified date null? Maybe there is something wrong with saving it. And that could be if we do this, update metadata, and find what is this now? Persists merges if entity already managed. Aha. So maybe that's where our problem lies. It doesn't update. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Let's restart it with a debug point here. Okay, give me 1 second because I'm starting dbeaver and I'm not sure when I used this last and what data is there, but there shouldn't be anything secretive. No, yeah. I used it 1 time and I used it for exactly this topic. We have the Quanta and nice. So we want to view the table and especially the data. And we have some last modified stuff in there. And of course, I forgot to attach the debugger. That's really annoying. But all right. So it persists this. It persists each file just 1 time. That's great. But I think the last modified date is wrong. So we can wait about 10 minutes. Yeah, which is fun. Or we can just try to debug at the right moment again. So I didn't work with Panaky before. It should be a pretty straightforward repository, but maybe there's some special thing that I don't know about, and that's why it's not updating the right entity, or it's not updating at all. That's really the problem. Okay, we have attached our debugger, which means we are in. So the existing metadata is 1 off again, right? 323, and last modified is 324. Great. We want to have that on file changed. And after some extraction, some summarization and stuff like that. Oh yeah, okay. We update the metadata anyways, because that's what we were here for. Let's go into the update metadata. Let's go further. Here we go. This is our path. It does find that it is existing, which is great with the old timestamp, but now it should use the new timestamp. So it sets the timestamp to the right time. Great. And now this is the perpetrator. We don't want to persist we want to do something else. I don't know what. Probably something like update. No? I can't see that. Okay, so persisting it should call persist, get the session, persist that stuff, persist down to the last drop. But it doesn't. Merges if entity already managed, but it does not. It does not merge that. And that's really annoying right now, because that's a really simple thing. It's not a complex object or anything like that. It's just the wrong data, I guess. Okay, I have to pull out the big guns, which in my case is, of course, only ChatGPT. There you can see I created that amazing image. So why is panicky in Quarkus not updating the last modified field, even if it is changed? Good question. I hate that it's always saying good question, great job. I hate that positivity. I hate positivity. I just hate that kind of positivity here. No need to call persist. Yeah, great. What? What? This is crazy. So the persist actually leads, it doesn't. Wow, that would be fun. Great. Yeah, because we are in a transactional way, that should work. I would like to fix that one thing, and then we can stop for today. Why not attach it? Even though there's really not much use to it. Because it really does all the correct things. Even this is correct, but even though if the file did change, then actually it shouldn't be duplicated in there as well. I didn't think about that. So right now, given that this file is changed, then there's simply a second entry. And that's actually not what we want. Yeah, maybe the UUID wasn't a bad idea after all. Damn it. That would be funny. Cool. Now this is through. It should have stored all the right data now. Let's start it one more time, see if it works or it doesn't, and then we're done. Because that the whole thing with the UUID, that's interesting. Because it really does make sense to create a UUID and to have it, oh no, to have it in this entity as well. That's quite funny. Cool. Yeah. Oh man. Here we go. Whew. I think we got it just in time. So the last modified, it's this one. This is great. And now this is still the wrong one. Great. Why? Why? Yeah, doesn't make sense. Okay, so that's the one thing we couldn't really fix. So we stop the debugger. Does it run now? Or does it still wait? No, it's running. Great. Let's go to our file search anyways. And we see that 2 times. Okay, so we didn't fix that today. I think I will fix that anyways because I really want to fix it. And then this project is kind of a wholesome thing. Like it's working and it's working really easily. So what do you think? Did you like that? Did you like the style that I presented it in and the actual result? I'm really interested in your opinion because this whole thing is just for fun, but it's always great to have some kind of feedback for all this work. And would you like to see something else? Hopefully AI related and Java related, because that's my little area where I have fun coding. Yeah, anyways, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Catherine, for participating. That's always appreciated. And I hope we see each other again. Great. And have a great Halloween altogether. See you next time. Goodbye.